evening, everybody.
Welcome to Tasty Tuesday.
And it's with Claire and Dave, and tonight we're going to bring you a real treat.
We are going to bring you a treat.
It is bourbon pecan chicken that Dave just had at a restaurant and really enjoyed it, so we thought we'd try it at home.
And if you all remember, we kind of issued a contest last week, and it was to guess the total number of bottles of liquor that we possess in our little bar downstairs. And the winner is...
Don't tell.
Going to be announced in a little bit.
All right, so we're going to get started, and we are going to use a chicken breast. We're just going to take a chicken breast and put it in the close and cut it in half, which really helps keep your chicken juicy. So we have our chicken right here. I have melted some butter, and I'm also going to add a tablespoon of Dijon mustard, and the rest we are going to use in our sauce. And then also we are going to need a tablespoon of some maple syrup. It happens to have been harvested, that's what it's called, by some of my relatives in Minnesota. All right, so I am just going to empty this out, and we're going to mix this together like so. And in the other pan, we are going to go ahead with some bread crumbs, and we're going to take some pecans and we're going to chop them up. So we're going to take some of our pecans. And I like to use the food chopper for carrots and nuts, but I like to use the manual food processor when I'm dealing more with other vegetables that are not as hard. So we're going to save some of these for our sauce for later. So I'm just going to put them in here, and we'll just kind of mix those two together. If you don't mind doing that, Dave, just mix those. All right, so I seem to have a hair that keeps bothering me, and I don't know where it is. Okay, so we're going to take our mixture, and I am just going to paint the sides of this, and this is going to add so much flavor right next to the chicken itself and lock in some of the juice, kind of make a barrier. And we'll flip that over and just give it a, get that ready. And then I am going to flip this in here. This is going to be delicious. You think it's going to be delicious? I do.
I know it's going to be delicious.
Yes. All right. And then once again, I'm going to flip. Let me add a little bit more here since I have it. And I'm going to shake it up. All right. And we are going to put that into the griddle and get that started cooking. You can add a little bit of butter if you want, but I think we're going to be okay. And I'm just going to put this in here, and it's going to cook both sides. So when you use the griddle and you're cooking both sides, it's not going to take as long. So you really can have your meal on the table in no time. So we're going to get rid of this chicken stuff. I'll pass that on to you. Thank you. All right, so then we're going to take our pan and get some sauce ready. So once again, we're going to take our pecans. We're going to get these all chopped up. And I don't want them too small because it's kind of nice to have those chunks. We're also going to add the rest of our Dijon mustard. Add our nuts. We're going to add some soy sauce and Worcestershire sauce. Said fast 10 or 15 times. And then we're also going to be adding the rest of that maple syrup. It's going to go in here. And I'm also going to add a little bit of butter. And in a little bit, we will add just a little bit of cream. So this is going to all go right in this pan, and we'll watch it. We want to cook it slowly so it doesn't burn. So while that's all happening, we also want to get our veggie ready to go. So I'm going to just put this right on the stove if we can start that. Thank you. And you know, we tend to like our asparagus around here, but you can do this with any of your veggies. So we're going to take asparagus. You could do this with beans. You could do this with Brussels sprouts, any of those things. And just cut them into thirds. We're going to take some olive oil, and we're going to put this right over the top of our veggies. Now these are pretty thick, so typically we use 4 or 6 minutes for cooking our Brussels or our asparagus, but it might be just a little bit longer tonight because it is pretty thick, and we're going to do that in the air fryer. We're going to take some lemon and put this over the top. And we're going to take some Parmesan cheese. And this will give it some of the saltiness. And I just like to. You can use your zester for this, or you can use a fine grate. And if you want to add some extra flavor, you can go ahead and take some of your lemon and add some of the zest, but remember, don't add the white because that is the pith, and we don't like to get that bitterness in. So I'm just going to top this off. We're going to mix it together. You'll find most of your zest is on the back, and we're just going to lightly mix this up like so, and then put it onto our tray for the air fryer. I know you guys are always asking for more recipes for the air fryer and some of our tools, so I think we're done here. You don't mind grabbing those? When you're cooking both sides of your chicken at the same time, it cooks so quickly.
Yum.
All right, so I'm going to pop this into our air fryer, and I'm going to continue to mix up our sauce. And while I'm doing that, I am going to hand things over to Dave.
You wash your sauce and
I
stuff?
will. So.
Okay. Can I make an announcement clear or not? I have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're gonna know. So, last week we issued a little challenge for people to guess how many bottles that we have in our bar. And
why did we ask that?
why did we ask that?
Yeah.
Because inquiring minds wanted to know.
Because what have we been doing for?
Well, we've been doing this for like 61 weeks now, so we didn't have this collection when we first started, and now we do. So we issued a challenge, and people were supposed to submit their guesses along with the recipe, and then the winner was going to receive this nice bar kit, as well as I would make the recipe that they submitted. So, and the thing was, you had to guess, but you could not go over. So, the closest person that came to the number of bottles that we have was our dear friend Linda Reason. She guessed 67 bottles, which was very low, but it did not go over. We actually have 103 bottles of liquor in our collection so far. Now, if Claire uses up all my bourbon tonight, then I'm going to have to lower that. But right now it's 103. And the recipe that Linda submitted was for a homemade, low-carb, keto-friendly Rumchata. So that's what we're going to make tonight. It's going to be made in the blender, and it involves some rum, some Keto-friendly, low-calorie sweetener. It's organic. I'm using the monkey fruit that Linda suggested.
What did you call it?
Monk fruit, not monkey fruit. Whatever.
Sorry.
Anyway, also some almond milk, some heavy whipping cream, some cinnamon, some nutmeg, and here we go. All right. Again, like I always do, I'm doubling the recipe. So this single recipe calls for 1 ounce of rum. I'm going to start with 2 ounces of rum. And you could use vodka instead of rum if you really wanted to. I didn't really want to do that. So we're also going to use, each recipe calls for a half a cup of almond milk. So I've got a full cup of almond milk that I'm going to be adding to this. It calls for 2 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream. So I'm going to make 4 of them, or use 4 of them. 1, 2, 3. You want the rest of it, don't you?
I do.
Okay, there you go.
So I'm just grabbing this, and you can see how nicely this sauce is coming together.
It smells really yummy. It also calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. So I'm going to put a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon in there, our Pampered Chef cinnamon. Also some nutmeg. Calls for an 1/8 teaspoon. So I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg in there. And I'm also going to put in 2 tablespoons per drink of the monk fruit. Low cal, artificial, not artificial, but a sweetener. 2, 3, and 4. All right. So those are the ingredients for this lovely, lovely cocktail. Now I'm going to step away and I'm going to blend this just for a couple of seconds and I will be right back. Claire, do you have any words of wisdom?
Yeah. So I'm going to take this bourbon and I'm going to open this.
Don't use a lot of it because I have very little bourbon left. There you
I'm
go.
going to add 3 tablespoons into my sauce and that extra cream in there, and it's going to make such a nice creamy sauce. So that is just about ready to go. I don't want to burn it. Okay, can you see here? Looks pretty delicious. So I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons, and we'll kind of measure.
So you're measuring?
Well, I'm kind of, here we go. All right, and I'm just going to mix this together.
I'm going to grab my glasses real quick.
All right, and this is a new 8-inch stainless non-stick pan. Getting a sneak peek. Ooh. Ooh, can you smell it? Oh, wow. I'm going to be schnockered tonight.
Schnockered. All right, here is our keto-friendly, low-cal, homemade Rumchata. Taste test.
Okay.
We'll see how Linda does with this. Very good.
It is really good.
Very, very good.
Keto friendly.
Not quite sure what you'd garnish this with. Maybe some cherries?
Good. Maybe a little cinnamon, something around the top.
Cinnamon something around the top? Very good. Thank you, Linda. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. Really excellent. All right.
Awesome.
We're going to get this together.
I got you.
Okay. So I have some green onions in here. I'm just going to chop those quickly. And we have our chicken. We have our sauce. I'm just going to put this over the top. And there were some where it was just, it really wasn't a sauce. It was all kind of baked on. And then there were some that were more of a sauce. So kind of went this direction. So we'll put this over the top. Put our green onions over that. I'm just going to grab a little bit more of this. There you go. Little garnish. You can make those pretty. And then let's check our asparagus. Looks pretty delicious.
It does.
And there you go. Lemon, Parmesan asparagus, and Bourbon pecan chicken with a splash of Keto Rumchata. Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to us too, so we'll have to eat that and let you know how it tastes.
Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll
Thank
see
you.
you next week.
We'll talk to you soon.
Take care.